Hello, grade 8s, and welcome to Simple Interest again, lesson 2 with a twist. All right, let's just quickly remind ourselves of the simple interest formula again, and that is A is equal to P 1 plus I times N. The A is the future amount that we have at the end of our investment, or the amount of money that we need to pay back in total. P is the present amount of money that you invest, or the present amount of money you want to borrow. The I is the interest, and people, very important, again, it's always written as a decimal. So how do you write a percentage as a decimal? Like, let's say 9%, you say 9 divided by 100. So you always divide with 100, and then you would get 0.09. Okay, and the N is the number of years the money is invested or borrowed for. Okay, let's quickly have a question. Look at a different type of question. Paul wants to go on a lekker holiday after school. He planned that him and his friends will go down to Cape Town after his last paper written in grade 12. Calculate how much money he must invest now at 10% simple interest if he needs an estimated total of 50,000 Rand for his holiday in 4 years' time. So, what did they give me now? They didn't give me the present amount of money that he wants to invest. They are giving me the future amount of money that he wants at the end of his investment. So if you have a look at your formula, what have they given me? They have given me A's value. A is going to be 50,000. And we are looking for P. What must he invest now? The interest was 10% written as a decimal, so it will give you 0.1. And the N, the number of years, were given as 4. So let's go and replace that into our formula. So now, instead of looking for A, we are looking for P. All right. So 50,000 equals to P 1 plus 0.10 times 4. If you get a little bit confused, it's basically like finding X, finding P. So the X just gets replaced now with a P. And that bracket, you can simplify that bracket. Do you agree? So if you take your calculator and you say 0.10 times it by 4 equals plus 1 will give you a certain amount. Okay, so that will give you 1.4. And you can test that with us in your calculator. So now, what is in front of P that we don't want? Or what is multiply? What is standing next to P that we don't want? Remember, we want P alone. It's being multiplied with 1.4. It's standing next to him. Remember, he's standing next to him, he's vibing, he's multiplying. Okay, so whatever's in front of P or what is ever standing next to P, we want to divide away with that. Okay, because the inverse operation of multiply is divide with 1.4. So I'm just going to write that again. So we want to divide with 1.4. But remember, what we do on the one side, we have to do on the other side as well. So we have to, on the other side, also divide with 1.4. And that 1.4 divided by 1.4 will cancel out each other, and you are left with P. Okay, it won't cancel out each other. It will, I always say it cancels out, but it actually, 4 divided by 4 gives you 1. So 1.4 divided by 1.4 gives you 1. 1 times P stays P. Okay, so basically it cancels out. But now, so we've got P alone now. So now we just have to go and do the calculation on the left-hand side. So 50,000 divided by 1.4 gives you 35,714.29. So does that make sense? His present amount of money he must invest now, 35,000, to have 50,000 at the end of 4 years. That does make sense. Okay, so you can just always write it the right way around as well if you want. So P is equal to 35,714.29 cents. Okay, let's have a look at another question. Katie inherited some money from her late aunt. She wanted to have 100,000 Rand in 2 years' time. So she has money to invest, but she just wants to know how much of it must she invest to get out 100,000 Rand at the end of 2 years. Okay, so now they say calculate how much she must invest now at 12.5% simple interest. Okay, so we've got the interest, we've got the future amount of money, we are looking for the present amount of money, and we also have the years. Hey, it's 2 years' time. So they just read it again. There is your formula. A is equal to P, 1 plus I times N. So now we're going to replace the A with 100,000. Do you agree? The future amount, we want 100,000. We have the percentage, but we have to write it as a decimal. So 12.5 divided by 100 will give you 0,125. And the number of years will give you 2. You have to insert a 2 there. Okay, so it will look as follows. 100,000 equals to P, 1 plus 0,125 times by 2. So now what is in front of that P, that whole bracket, or what is next to P is that whole bracket. And that whole bracket can be simplified. So let's do that. Okay, when you simplify that, you can use your calculator, you'll get 1.25. And now you're going to say, hey, what is standing next to P? What is vibing with P? What is multiplying with P? 1.25. How do I get the multiplication of 1.25 away? You divide with it. So you take your answer and you divide with 1,25. But what you do on the one side, you have to do on the other side because you have to keep your balance correct. You are working with equations. Hey, so you divide on that side also with 1,25. That will cancel out, or it becomes 1, and 1p stays p. So p is equal to 100,000 divided by 1,25. And your answer there will give you a lovely, lovely little amount of 80,000 Rand. And again, you can just write it the right way around if you want. P is equal to 80,000 Rand. So, Katie, you have to invest now of your inheritance 80,000 Rand to have 100,000 in 2 years' time. Okay, and over there, there's your questions. There's only 4 of them. The memo is also attached, so please mark yourself at the end. And number 4 is a real tricky one. And if you want, I can quickly read through it with you, but I really want you to stretch yourself to see whether you can do a question where the N has been omitted, the number of years hasn't been given. So do your calculation, write it up into your formula, and then instead of finding P, you are finding N. And it's just a simple equation. You have to chip away at it until you can find that missing value N. Okay, but it is in the memo, and if you don't get to it, if you really can't do it, don't stress too much. But I really want some of you to stretch yourself a little bit and try that one. Okay, you must have a wonderful day, and I'll see you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday. Cheers, grade 8s.